In 3.1, we're going to look at solving linear systems algebraically. So the first we want to discuss, so the solution, so all of our answers for these problems, we're going to be in that XY format. So it's a point, an X and a Y, where the lines intersect to make a point. So that's what we're looking for. What is the point that they both have in common? So here are some steps. So we're going to put this into practice in the next slide. But when you use when one equation is already solved for a variable, like y equals 3x minus 2. So if not already done, get the x or y by itself on one side. So here that y is by itself. So that's what we would use. Then we're going to substitute the expression into the other equation. So we're going to replace the y in the second equation with this information, or x. It depends what letter is by itself, what variable. Then we'll solve for the remaining variable. That would be our first answer. So we'll get x or y. Then once we have that number, we're going to go back to the original one or two equations and substitute that number back into the original equation. And then we're going to write our answer as an ordered pair, x comma y. And you can always check yourself by plugging in the original equation, the x number and the y number. So let's try it. So here, like I said, there's going to be two equations. So we're going to look at substitution first. That was the steps for substitution. Now you can identify substitution method because look at the top equation. It has x minus 2y equals negative 3. The x and y are together on one side. Now look at the second equation. That y is by itself. So that's how I automatically know that we are going to use substitution because that y variable is by itself. So our first step is we are going to substitute. So we are going to take the original equation, but instead of now the y, we are going to replace y with negative 4x plus 15 because the second equation is telling us, well, y equals negative 4x plus 15. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. So this is your first step is to substitute. So I'm going to rewrite my equation and substitute it. So instead of that y, I'm going to write that negative 4x plus 15 and then bring down that negative 3. Now I'm going to solve for x. So when you have those parentheses, remember you need to distribute into everything inside the parentheses. So two negatives make a positive 8. Bring down the x. Negative 2 plus 15, negative 30. After you distribute, you need to look. Do I have any like terms? Well, yes, I have an x and an 8x. There's an invisible 1 in front of here. So 1 plus 8 is 9x. Bring down everything else. I need to get x by itself, so I have to handle that 30. The 3 cannot move because it is handling that right side. So my next step is 30. When you're crossing the equal, you do opposite. So bring down 9x. Negative 3 plus 30 equals 27. And then last, always your last step is you divide that number in front of x. That's always your last step. So that's my first step. I have my 3. Remember, we're looking for, this is our answer. Well, we have the x, that's the 3. So your second step, after you substitute, you're going to replace. So using that 3, let's go back to one of our original equations in the problem, and instead of x, we're going to put the 3. So I'm going to use this one because we're looking for y, so why not do the y equals negative 4. Instead of x, plug in that 3, replace x, and solve. So negative 4 times 3, negative 12 plus 15, y equals positive 3. So your final answer is 3, 3. We write it as a point. Let's try another one. So here's the same thing. Let me look at my equations. Oh, y is by itself, so I know I need to do substitution. So my first step is to substitute. First step is the substitute. I'm going to take this 3x minus 3 and replace the first equation instead of y. Put my 3x, so x plus 2, open your parentheses, 3x minus 3. So we're replacing that y. And then distribute. Like terms, 1 plus 6, 7x. Can't move the 8, so we need to move the 6. 8 plus 6. 14. Divide by the 7. 2. So that's just our first half. So second step, we need to replace. So I'm going to go back to that y equals equation, but instead of x, I'm going to replace x with our answer of 2 to get y. So 3 times 2 is 6 minus 3, so our y is 3. So write your final answer, 2, 3.